What's going on, family? Kevin and Jesse here with you guys today, the Elite State of Mind podcast. As always, our goal is to listen, learn, and grow. Jesse, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm great, man. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am doing amazing. Family, make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram page, and hit that little bell on YouTube for me so you get notified every Wednesday at 4 as Jesse and I help you guys to listen, learn, and grow. Family, what we're going to talk about today, the study of love. Now, I know for us, this is always a very interesting topic, one that has evolved as we have, through life, one that we find to help in all facets of life. Quick little backstory. It spurred from our last episode when we talked about men that want wives or get wives. Have they found a mentor to help them with their wives? And then have you studied love in the pursuit of said wife, right? Have you studied love in pursuit of yourself? Because many of us have not. Yeah. And as you said, last time, Jesse, one of the things was, with the self-love movement, there are many things that people are doing now that are great, making sure that they maintain the skin that they're in, making sure, that they keep a fresh cut. Maybe they're going to a masseuse. Many people going to, the gym. Nowadays, trying to being more conscious of their health. Yeah. But Jesse, what is on the next level, the level underneath what's on the surface of the study of love for yourself?
I think a deep dive into understanding, the psychology of yourself. So if the whole goal is to, increase the knowledge of yourself, so when you do that, you're able to love yourself with a deeper depth. So you have to understand all the things that have transpired in your life make you who you are. So even the things that you haven't dealt with, they are rearing their head in some way, some form, some fashion. Some of the things that you've dealt with and dealing with other people, they too are rearing their head in your particular life, and how you deal with other people, and also how you deal with yourself. So understanding that before you can look outwardly, you have to look inside first to see what's going on. To take the steps necessary to say, in what areas am I particularly lacking for myself, in which I control, I can do better.
Very, very true. I, completely agree with that. And I think we have gotten away from taking that intrinsic look at ourselves, because it can be a tough one. Whether that then unearths or triggers some, past emotional traumas, physical or mental. It may then cause you to, disengage from some individuals. Yeah. Maybe they were the ones that caused that, or maybe they were enablers in that. And, it doesn't matter if it was done to you or you did it to yourself. Right. Because, so often when it comes to how I'm going to grow and if I'm going to, begin to love myself, sometimes some people have to tell me, you can no longer speak to yourself the way you do. You can no longer dress yourself the way you do. Yeah. You can no longer feed yourself the way you do.
That's a big one.
You can no longer watch the things that you watch because it doesn't show yourself love, but it feeds the negative self-image that you have created for yourself. So with the, like you said, with the study of love itself, are you looking at the psychology of it? Yeah. Are you looking at, all the things that love, encompasses? Let me ask you this question, Jesse, because, one thing that I've seen, on Facebook out there, and I'm not going to say that I disagree wholeheartedly. Okay. But I don't know if it's 1,000% true, is that what some people are saying these days is that real love or true love doesn't hurt.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh like that but it is funny. I cannot ride with that because of a few different reasons. But just knowing that you're going to have to, if you're really operating in some love, that you're going to have to deal with some things that always don't feel well to you. But if we're really operating in that, then it's for the betterment of whom I am dealing with.
Facts.
So therefore, I may have to incur some pain that isn't even mine.
See, and I know where I believe I know where you're going.
Yeah, okay.
I
So
believe
all right.
I know where you're going. And I'll say this, family. This is again for those of us who are of the household of faith.
Yeah.
If we truly believe in what real love is, real love endured some pain.
Yeah.
And I love when the Hebrews writer said, "You have not resisted unto blood."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now again, if you are not of that belief system, then maybe for you, that's not what real love is. But for those of us who profess a belief in our Creator, love took somebody to the cross.
Yeah.
And it made somebody, as you said, endure some things that they even had. They weren't there to commit the crimes.
Didn't get to enjoy.
Didn't get to enjoy any of the lasciviousness that took them to that place.
Yeah.
But that their level of friendship love was so deep for you and I that they said, "I'm willing to endure this hurt, to endure this pain, just to give you the opportunity."
Yeah. So that you're covered. Right? The debt, right? We will say all the time that love is a debt. It is to be paid for those who are unable to pay it. Right? So it is a gift. That's what makes it a gift. That's why you have to choose to really give it, even when you feel like it's not being reciprocated as it, quote unquote, should be.
Facts.
Because it's not always going to be the case when you relate to another.
Stay there for a moment, because many times for us as men, and myself included, I am guilty of this. If we can become emotionally unintelligent if we feel like love isn't being reciprocated, especially from the opposite sex.
Yeah.
And then in that we can begin to lash out.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like the only way to get you to understand what I need is to bring you to the place of my pain.
Right.
Because maybe I lack the intelligence or the patience to walk this journey in grace with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes it's a pain point for us. So when somebody sticks their finger in a particular wound that's still somewhat open, right, then our response is going to be, exactly that.
Right.
It's going to be, let me. Hey, I got to bring you to where you feel me.
Right.
To where you really understand where I'm at. And it's like you say, it's a work, right? It's a work in progress to say, I'm not going to, on purpose, bring you the pain in which you have given to me, because oftentimes you're not going to actually receive that on purpose. They're not doing whatever it is they do on purpose. They're going to do it because their awareness level isn't high enough to understand that, hey man, my empathy says I have to think about what it is I'm about to say before I say it. Right. Understanding. I mean, a lot of things, like you said, the opposite said about us as men. Women have to understand that our desire, the thing that keeps us going, is that we have to be respected above all else. You can do a lot of things. We can take a lot of things. You can talk a little crazy. There's some things that you can go with that.
Right.
But at the point in time that your respect level is below the particular standard, that's when you're going to get a negative response from us.
Right.
That's when you're not going to get exactly what you need from us. Because at the point in time that we know that we're not respected, that means we're not loved. That's what that means for us. Right? I'm not trying to tell anybody, oh, you don't know what love, you don't know this, you don't know that. Listen, I'm telling you as a man.
Right.
That if you don't respect me, you don't love me. Point blank and period. So at the point that you decide that you want to disrespect me in whatever manner that you do that, then you're going to be met with some force that you're unaccustomed to. Right? Because that's just how we're wired. We're wired that particular way. That's why it says that we need to be respected.
Right.
See, love is a construct that we have to learn, right, to do at an appropriate level, because that is the gasoline to the opposite sex for us.
Very, very true. And one thing, that I think gets, lost in that conversation of, love being respect for men, when it comes to the study of love in your particular relationship, that's going to be different. It could be different for all men.
Yeah.
Right. And whatever he then deems as disrespect is now, like you said, crossing that threshold. Some men may not take it as disrespect for you to spend up all their money and leave them in debt.
Right.
They may be perfectly fine with that. Some men may not take it as disrespect for you to deal with other men.
Right.
Some men may not, take it as disrespect for you to talk to them any kind of way.
Right.
But for whatever it is that you and he have sat down and discussed,
right.
and it's a conversation that needs to be had.
That's right.
What do you take as disrespect?
Yes.
And then, the inverse of that is that man should ask you, how do you need to be loved?
Yes.
How can I best love you?
Yeah.
What things show you love? Because love is an action. So how do I put my love to the action for you? Now, fellas, again, you've heard me and Jesse say this, study this person, study them and take notes, right? Because the relationships are an open book test.
Yeah.
Because you live with this person or you talk to this person on the regular, or you should, on a regular basis, right? Yeah. Therefore, many of these answers you have in front of you, but it is because we don't apply ourselves to the study of love that we will end up failing the test in its most crucial times.
Yeah, we stop taking notes along the way, right? We have to be a high-level note taker, right?
Facts.
Because people don't like to agree with the statement, but it is true, right? It is the words. Like, women have more words. They speak more words on a daily basis than men do, right? So therefore, because this is the case, then you, as a man, need to be taking the notes on the things in which, your person is saying to you.
Very true.
Because those notes are a reference point for you when it comes time for these special occasions or whatever. You're failing these tests, and I hope this is going to help some brothers. You're failing these tests because you're not taking notes throughout the year for these particular days and times. Birthdays are important. Your whatever it is, those type of things are important. So, we got the book here, the 5 love languages. All that is a starting point. Right.
Great outline.
It's an outline. It's a point of beginning for you to say, hey, I got these. The beginning point may be 5. As you delve into your study of love, you might say, hey, man, it's going to be a multiplier, actually. First level might be 5, second level might be 10, third level might be 15 as you go into it. But you have to start there with these 5, begin to take these particular notes. And then, like you said, you're asking the questions necessary because we can't, as men, we get in trouble because we project how we want to be respected.
Facts.
As love to the individual in which we deal with. And that's ineffective.
Very, very true. I think, especially, for men, we have to develop our deep listening skills, our active listening skills. And when you're having these conversations, you are having them to store up this knowledge for then the relationship to work for your betterment. So therefore, you can be proactive instead of reactive. So you can see a need coming and already take care of it.
Yes.
Because that's what provision is. It's beforehand.
Yeah. You're anticipating, right? That caring concern, the definition.
Right.
The caring concern. You're anticipating the need of another.
Right. We go to work to have money to pay bills before they get there. Yes. You don't work until you get the cutoff notice. You don't wait till you get the cutoff notice and then you're like, hey, I need a job so I can pay a bill. No, you do your best to have the money in place. Right. So when the bill gets there or on the due date of the bill, it's not a concern.
You can pay.
Well, love is a bill. As you said, it's a debt.
It's a debt.
And if I haven't stored up any answers, if I haven't, she likes XYZ flower. This is XYZ her favorite movie. This is XYZ one of her, activities that she loves to do. Yeah. Then when it's time for me to pay these bills, the bill of love,
you have nothing, right? And the issue is like, that which we're talking about right now, that is the simple side of it.
True.
Now, when you're dealt with the adversity, this is when, the study of love actually begins to come into play. Well, I think a lot of people don't understand is that you really don't have a relationship until you've had some adversity.
Facts.
All you had at that point, up to that point in time, is just infatuation.
Uh-oh.
That's what you have.
Uh-oh.
Okay? To relate to somebody that means that we don't always agree on on everything, but what we can do is, like you said, we've had enough studies to obtain the skill to relate to one another.
Very true.
Right? Successful relationships are skill-based. They're not emotion-based.
Facts.
And so people get that misconstrued often because if you ain't arguing with me, then you really don't love me. What?
Yeah.
That doesn't really make much sense at all. Because if we're really trying to, if the goal and purpose is success, relational success, I'm trying to mitigate. I'm trying to minimize the amount of time spent arguing. That does nothing. That is nothing but a negative exchange of energy. That is a waste of everyone's time.
Very, very true. I think we misconstrue arguing with engagement.
Right.
If there is no engagement in the relationship from one side to the other, then that thing is probably dead. Yeah. Right. If there is no communication, that you got to do something. You got to do something to rattle the boat. You have to do something to see if this person will then engage with you, so you guys can reach a resolution or solution to whatever it is that's going on.
Correct.
But we have taken love and we have polluted it so that it is for so many wrapped up in fights and being cussed out and getting put hands on and done dirty. That is the only way that we equate love.
Can we say that's immature love?
Oh, very
undeveloped.
Oh, I don't even. Here's the thing. It's a process love. And process, what I mean by it is like how we process our food these days. Yeah. Like you said, it's an imitation of. Like you have real crab that comes out the sea. Right. Then you got that imitation you get at Walmart. Oh, no. That's what a lot of us have. Okay. Is an imitation love. Yeah. It looks like love. If you touch it, it feels like love. Hey. Right? Yeah, for sure. But then when it comes down to actually being love,
when the rubber meets the road, man.
When it's time for love to make a choice,
make an appearance,
to make a definite decision. Yeah. And what I mean by that is that on those days when you're like, I can't stand you today, but I still love you. But I still love you. And therefore, I'm going to show up because that's what love did for us.
Yes.
You don't deserve what I'm about to go do. Yeah. You don't deserve what I'm fixing to endure.
And how I'm going to set you up.
But because I love you, it has nothing to do with what you deserve.
It has nothing to do with your current actions, current state. For I can see, man, the value, who you are.
Love looks past where you are right now,
where you currently are,
because it hopes the best. Yeah, it wishes the best in all things for you. Yes, right. So if you're in a relationship and that's not what's being shown, not what's being said, right? What's being shown?
Can you say it one more time?
Again, let me help you.
One more time.
If it's not what's being shown,
yes,
right. That even in our worst moments, in the darkest of times, do I come back to you? And will I tell you, this means too much to me for us to not at the least make an attempt to get this thing right. Yeah. This means too much for us to try and let all of this go that we have worked on and built to just let it go by the wayside.
And I'm supposed to do this type of effort at the friendship level.
Man, I got to be in the midst of what you got going on as a friend.
As a friend.
Because the proverb writer says when he finds a friend, he finds somebody that sticks closer than a brother.
As a friend. Yep.
That we could share a bond of blood. But when I find a friend, they are supposed to love me more than my own flesh and blood. Yep. Than my own family. Yep. Because that's our bond.
Indeed.
But too many of us are running around here in marriages, relationships, and situationships and aren't even friends. And we wonder why.
They say that.
We lack that level of love. But it's because we're lacking because we don't have the knowledge. Because we have yet to study these things about love. Now, here's the thing, family. I understand love can look different, for different people in different, environments and different things. But there are just some very basic tenets. And again, love is an action.
The base ingredients are the same.
Love has to be shown. Now, how you guys may show it,
it's gonna be different.
It's
gonna be different.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you are continually not being shown love, that imitation love, you got to real love,
right? you got a choice to make. You have a decision to make, and you're only able to really make the decision if you yourself are able to show yourself that love. That means you've taken the time to do so. You've seen yourself in all 4 seasons.
Uh-oh.
Right. Yeah, you've seen yourself in all 4 seasons. Like a lot of times people get it, people get it twisted. They think they can get with somebody and you don't see them in all 4 of their seasons to understand how they operate. Do they still operate well in their winter season when they're not as hospitable and welcoming to you? Are they still respectful and loving towards you? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen during the course. A lot of people get, discouraged because when an individual is going through that particular season, then all things have just changed. They're just not, treating me the way in which, I just don't know what's going on.
And you don't know because you haven't studied.
What make you think it's about you? That therein is the issue. What makes you think it's about you? Because the reality is, no matter, like you said, no matter what it is that you're in, you're still supposed to be working on yourself. Your focus is to be on yourself. Not on, well, if they were doing X, Y, Z. No, what are you doing?
Facts.
What are you looking at? What are you studying? How are you showing love on a day-to-day basis? Day to day, week by week, month by month, year over end. Yeah. When you go to balance the books, are you in the red? Yeah. Or are you in the green? Yeah. Have you given an abundance and a surplus of love and actions? Yeah. Did you show up when you didn't want to? Yeah. Did you show up when folks was talking about you? Did you hasten back to the person you loved, even when y'all did leave for a moment? Yeah. How much grace are you showing? That person's human too. Just like you are. Facts. How much empathy are you giving them as they go through and navigate being a person who has to go to work and deal with other people who aren't always just as pleasant as they should be? Sure. How much thought are you giving to what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis? Very true. And often we give none. Yeah. Because when I feel like you have stopped to love me, well, now we got an issue. Then I'm taking the 5-year-old. Well, I guess I'm just going to take mine and go over here to the corner. When they need you the most, are you willing to give them the love that they need? That's tough. Yeah. That's tough because that's a tall ask. Yeah, because in that moment, you're not going to get anything back. You're going to get absolutely nothing. You are going to get nothing, and it's going to be draining. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck. Yeah. But you are going to do it in the hopes. Yes. You are going to become that for them in hopes that you all return. Yeah. And that your love, the bond that you share, is now stronger. That it's now deeper. Yeah. That it is you've made a even better connection. Yeah. So that the next time it's not as bad. Well, that's the only way that it can, right? That you deal with some type of adversity of some sort. And you're able to navigate through that. When you're able to do that, like you said, then when the next thing is going to come, and here's what gets people in trouble, they don't think anything's actually going to come while they're in a relationship with another person, and it is. Like, just in case you didn't know, we just want to share with you, things are going to transpire, and they're going to come up, they're going to pop up, right? Just because the individual that you decide to deal with, they have a past too. They lived a life before they even knew who you were and got with you. So you had to deal with some of the residue of that, right? That's true. Individuals have to grow and change to become who they are now. And that's, the work that you have to do as a human being. Right. But just know that there is some leftovers that are probably stale that you got to deal with. Right. Right. So in doing so, You're going to have to navigate some things. But as you go through, like you said, that first time may be difficult. It's going to be extremely tough. But if you make it through, then the next thing that comes up, you have a blessed assurance that you're going to be just fine.
Right.
We're going to be okay. We know how to navigate through these choppy waves and seas. We're going to be okay. We're going to make it to the other side because we've made it once before.
Right.
So it's okay.
Right. Love is the light from the lighthouse.
Right.
It'll pierce through the darkest fog. Right. And again, as you're on this sea, you're making this journey to get to that light.
Yeah.
You know, the tough part, you know, for us is fighting our humanness.
Oh, yeah.
Is fighting that urge.
Oh, yeah.
Because that reciprocity gene is always triggered.
Yeah.
That I always need something in return. Right. And as we believe, you know, the writer Napoleon Hill said there is nothing in this world. There is no such thing as something for nothing. No. Right. No. But it's not always going to come back to you the same way.
Right.
One thing that we have to understand in the study of love is you have to study also how this person shows love. How does this person say I love you?
Yes.
Because you may be the person that says I love you just out loud all the time. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
And they may say it once a quarter.
Right.
Right. Now, again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't address that and say it would help me. It would benefit me if you said it a little more often.
Yeah.
But you also need to understand that maybe they showed up with a gift. Maybe they cooked you a meal.
Yes.
Maybe they were out, saw something that reminded you of them or them of you, and they bought that for you.
Yeah.
Maybe just randomly throughout the day they sent you a song. Maybe they just gave you a card.
Yeah.
And that is how they say I love you to you. Right? You have to, in this study, understand that there are different ways of that expression.
Yeah.
People say I'm sorry in different ways. Again, it could be a bevy of those things, and you have to learn how this person communicates. So therefore, your love doesn't die as a baby.
Right.
Because any relationship, it starts out in its infancy.
Yeah.
It's good, like you said, it's going to be fed the milk, but then as it grows, as that adversity comes, it needs nutrients from other levels. And the only way you get that is to, we all have to study our kids. Where you at now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's time to get off the bottle. I was watching this video the other day, and I believe it was what is that gentleman's name? Dr. Jordan Peterson. Yeah. And he said, so often parents, when their children are trying dangerous things carefully, will stop them. Yeah. And it showed kind of this monologue of kids climbing on stuff or, trying to reach for stuff. And you just think back as a parent, how often do you see your child about to climb on something and you say no? Yeah. Right. How often do you see them kind of gauging something, and before they even do it, you stop them in hopes that you're going to avoid the danger. Yeah. They're going to avoid falling. They're going to, and I'm not saying you just let your kid dive off your house.
Off the couch though, it'd be all right. Yeah.
Your nephew, that used to be his go-to. Well, y'all, this couch was fun. And there he went. Yep. Right. He's still alive, y'all. He's fine. He's good.
It's all right.
Still doing this thing. But how do we, Jesse, when our love is trying dangerous things in a careful manner, when it's trying to resolve conflict carefully, how do we not just say no?
That takes a little. It takes a little faith. It takes a little intentional will to understand that it's going to be okay. You have to take the opportunity to say, like you said, it's a little risky, but there's still an element of safety that's still there because, hey, they not going anywhere, you not going anywhere. All right, so let's really get to the crux of what's going on, right? That therein is the ability to be both vulnerable and to increase intimacy.
Very true.
With that right there.
Very, very, very true. And like you said, it has to be established that if things get shaky, are we going to leave?
Right.
Because if we can't move past that, then we can't get to any of this other.
There has to be a conversation, a actual conversation that has to be had. That listen, if we get to the argument or whatever, Listen, don't say that now.
That'll set it off.
That's gonna set it off. So there's some ground rules. We just not gonna do that.
Right.
And it has to be okay. Like you said, you gotta have the conversations of operation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got to understand how your business operates. Love inside the relationship is a business.
Yeah.
And there has to be some rules, some outlines, and some structure, because if society left to itself, it goes into anarchy.
Man.
And that's not what you want for your relationship. So there has to be structure. There are light boundaries inside of that. Now let me say this, because with the conversation about boundaries, and it really only applies, again, if you are of the same belief system as us, is inside of the marriage, that your love is limitless and boundless, because that it should be the safest space that you have. Now, obviously, we're not talking about should people just be able to treat you any kind of way.
No.
In theory, right? Because now I say this for the brothers, again, if you believe this and you are instructed to love her, as he loved the church,
right?
We'll play how do we do him?
Yeah, we do him dirty. If you're really being honest,
I treat that cat any kind of way.
You disrespect him on a day-to-day basis to his face.
Outwardly.
You talk bad about him.
He be sitting right there.
Come on, man.
Who can I hit up today?
Yeah, right.
Whose house can I slide over to?
Just supreme disrespect.
And then got the nerve. Well, now, Lord, if you would help me get this promotion. He like, now you were doing all this humming when you was sliding them DMs.
Right.
When you was humming that Trey songs.
Right.
And that Chris Breezy.
What's up, Trey? What's up?
Yeah. You wasn't singing your best Baptist hymn then.
Well, hey, you might have to guide me. But anyway, we gotta
but now he's sitting there like the Godfather.
Yeah.
On this day, you disrespect me. You don't even have the respect to call me Godfather, and you ask me these favors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't even have the respect to love me, because I said if you love me, keep my commandments.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing.
That's a tough one.
Man,
that's a super tough one.
Like you said, as a man, you have to take that. You have to be able, get your mind, purpose in your heart that is what it takes. What Coach say? It takes what it takes. And the standard?
Is the standard. You better defend it.
So if you say, you a man. If you say, I'm going to be husband. If you say, I'm going to be father, then guess what?
Walk that thing out.
Here's the standard. Here it is.
That was the standard set before you. That's what love did for you.
Yeah.
Before many of us were even here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before we were even here.
Yeah.
Love paid a debt
It's
that
tough.
you could not pay.
It's tough, right? It's one of the reasons when he's having when he's having a conversation with his disciples, they asked, well, then who should get married? And who can do this? Who can keep this? And what's crazy is the answer is we don't know.
It's up to y'all.
I guess we'll see. It's up to you.
Can you walk that thing out?
Yeah.
And there are many people in relationships now. You need to have that conversation.
Yeah, you do.
I don't believe that we are walking out this thing called marriage the way love is supposed to be prescribed.
No.
Because on one hand, I'm not loving you as he instructed me to.
Right.
And on the other hand, every day I'm met with disrespect.
Right.
Well, player, we got two options. We're either going to go back to the basics. We're either going to go back and do our first works over. Or we're going to ask some forgiveness. And I'm going to go play for a new team.
Right.
So that you can now find the love that you deserve, that you were designed to receive.
Right.
And there's somebody out there for me to love the way that I want to love.
Facts.
But that's a tough conversation.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, many of us know what we're in and what we're not in.
And again, do you love yourself enough to tell yourself the truth?
Ooh.
To really be honest with you?
Because people going to talk about you.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Whether you do the right thing or whether you do the wrong thing, people are going to have something to say. But the beauty is that you progress and you understand their opinion really doesn't matter. So you need to do what it is that you know in your heart is right to do.
Facts.
Because if not, then that in and of itself becomes a sin.
Uh-oh.
But we'll talk about that later. Though.
Yeah, no, because you can't be in no loveless marriage and tell me you love the Lord.
How does that work exactly?
I have no clue.
Does that even work?
No.
Is that even possible? Let's talk about women. Is that even possible?
In my opinion, it is not, because you're not going to bear any fruits.
Yeah, right. And that's your commission, right? Is that not what you're supposed to do? People think that when they said in Genesis to be fruitful and multiply, you're talking about children. That's not what that was talking about. It's dealing with the gifts that you have and the relationships in which you will form. Are they going to bear fruit? Do they have what it takes to bear the fruit of the Spirit?
Uh-oh.
Do they? There's evidence of that thing.
Again, that evidence.
There's evidence.
It keep coming
it's
back.
There. So, in terms of your relationship, is there any evidence that it's alive, that it's viable, that it's positive, purposeful? Are any of those things there? Because if they're not, then what are you doing besides making a mockery of this thing called love? Last time I checked, God is love, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm just curious. This is food for thought.
Sure is.
Because we're here to listen, learn, and grow just as well as anybody that's going to pay attention to our podcast, right?
Very true, sir.
So we're just going through, and we just got to
But my thing is the
verbalize.
evidence. If you are married, the evidence comes from your children. Because one, ask yourself this: do you pray that they find the love you have? do you say, I really hope you find somebody to love like I love your mother? Or do your children look at you and say, hey, big dog, you might want to talk to Susie? Because what you got going on over here, I don't want none of that.
Yeah.
Is the testimony of your kid, y'all should have got divorced about 2 straight decades ago. Because this was some bull.
Garbage.
This was hot garbage.
Oh, my
I
God.
don't ever want no relationship like y'all had.
Yeah.
Oh, because they going to say it.
Oh, yeah.
When you hung with me and me. Y'all, no, I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that.
Negative ghostwriters.
Yeah. I'm out on everything y'all had.
Yep.
And everything y'all did. Because it was, and you should have been out.
Right. Right.
You should have turned in your pink slip,
Right.
your 2 weeks, and said, hey, man. Because this lie that is, let's stay together for the children, it damages them. Yeah. And then it damages their perception of love. Because now, again, they go back to equating love with abuse. They go back to equating love that has no actions.
Unfulfilled dreams and promises.
Lackluster.
Yes.
Dusty love.
Yes.
Do you have an old
my
dusty
God.
love?
Oh, my God.
Maybe an infomercial. Is your love old and dusty? Come to Elite State of Mind and dust off your love.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness.
But hey, man, some of y'all need to dust off your love.
Yeah.
And first of all, dust off the love for yourself.
Yeah, take a good look, right?
Because if that person has a hard time loving you, it's probably because you don't love you.
Right, because you have a hard time loving you, right? People, people say all the time, people take their notes on how to deal with you, treat you, love you, respect you, based upon how you're treating and loving yourself. And that's a very true statement. If you're standing for yourself, it's such like, listen, I'm not leaving the house till I'm put together like that. Why? Because I care, right? I represent my family. Those who came before me who are no longer living, I still put on for them. I put on for them every single day. So it matters, man. It matters how I leave the house. It matters how I present myself. It matters that I level up my speech, my thought, and my action. All of it matters. So if I don't do any of those things, then somebody else can come along and be like, well, you accept this, so therefore this is your standard.
Facts.
So therefore you can't get mad because this is what you accept from them.
Right.
Right? You accept from them. It's okay. Like don't worry about that. It's fine. You accept the fact that they don't want to work hard. They don't value you. They don't value what you value. If you value hard work, if you value education, if you value discipline, if you value structure, all those things you should be showing on a day-to-day basis. So therefore they know up front. They know up front who you are.
Very true.
They know up front how to deal with you.
Right.
And they know up front whether they can or they cannot deal with this particular structure.
Very, very, very true. Don't be out here passing out that fool's gold love. giving out a love in hopes that you may entice this person.
Yeah.
But then when that luster wears off, when that lust goes away,
it's not shiny.
When that love endures infatuation.
Yeah.
Love endures lust.
Statement, bro. Yeah.
It endures all
statement.
of these things.
Yes.
It passes the test of time. Love is like that old car built in the 1950s. It was put together well.
Yeah.
Because somebody put that thing together with love.
Yeah.
Because they thought about somebody's family.
Yes.
Riding in that thing. They thought about the care and concern. They thought about the guy who had to drive this car to the factory to get to work. Right?
Yeah.
It's not the superficial love that we see today.
Yeah.
Let me just mass produce this thing on such a high level only so I can get a return.
Right.
Right? No, love is a craftsmanship.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
It is a burden of the hands. That's why it's a labor of love.
Yep.
And you only get paid for the work you put in. So if you're not willing to put work into love, leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Just go deal in high levels of lust.
Yeah.
He can work with that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he said, hey, I need you to be hot or cold.
Yep.
Don't be lukewarm.
Yep.
Don't be lukewarm. If you just out here dealing at high levels of lust, he can still deal with you.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
I promise you. But if you want to deal in high levels of love, in an extraordinary, in a phenomenal love, it's going to take some things.
Yeah.
It's going to take some intent.
Yeah.
It's going to take some deep study.
It's going to take some personal study, some personal growth, some real conversation with yourself. That's going to be a little uncomfortable. Matter of fact, it's going to be a whole lot of uncomfortable. Because you're looking back seeing like, dang, I was wrong.
Woo.
I didn't do that right.
Woo.
I mistreated this particular person.
Uh-oh.
Right? It doesn't matter what they really did to you.
Right.
That never matters, right? What really matters is your particular response.
Very true.
We know we've grown when the response begins to change on how people do us and how we respond to them, how we deal with them. So, yeah.
Love apologizes.
It's not afraid. It's not afraid nor ashamed to say I was wrong.
Love can apologize with haste as well.
Quickly. It should. It should, quickly. It has to be. Because if your goal is success relationally, then whatever it is that took you off track, you go, I'm sorry, my bad. Even, you know you're getting good when it wasn't your fault.
And you apologize.
And you apologize.
Because your number one goal is, hey, let's get back in right standing.
Yeah. You're responsible. You apologize. Because I'm the one responsible for the entire thing.
Right.
So you know what? You're right. My bad. This is what I'm going to do. This is the plan now, moving forward, to fix this so we don't revisit this again.
This situation.
And in the event that we do, we know how to quickly
come back.
Put it back in line.
But again, family, that takes intent. Yeah. Studying takes a want. Because there are some things that come naturally to us.
Yeah.
But to study something that in your flesh is foreign to you, right? Yeah. To not hold somebody else, to not hold grudges, to not always want to do the get back at somebody.
That's right.
It takes a want to study this thing called love.
Yeah.
It takes a deep desire. It is half the time it's got to be your definite purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And fellas, if you'll study love, if you will try your best to, wrap your mind around how to love you, how to respect yourself, then you can begin to teach somebody. And you can begin to show that love. Jesse, before we get out of here, what I'd love for you to share with the family is, what would you say is the building block in studying love?
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is just, when our 42 went to 10, the 10 went to 2. You're loving God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. That takes an intent. That does take some study, because in order for you to do that, you have to understand the characteristics, character traits of God. You're understanding, the psychology of God. You're understanding the mechanics inside of relationships and how he works.
Right.
So in order for you to really love him on those 3 levels, which he asked, which is the ask, right? Heart, soul, and mind. That means you have to understand the heart, the soul, and the mind of God.
That's deep.
So that's why it's our job. We're having to get into So therefore, I don't have, as a man, I don't have a lot of time to really sit up and worry about things that don't matter, because it is my job to focus on the study so that I can get to know the heart, soul, and the mind of God. And if I'm able to do that, then that becomes a part of me. So therefore, I'm able to better relate to other individuals, brother, sister, whatever it might be. I'm able to understand on a level of empathy with emotional intelligence, because people forget, they understand that, the infinite intelligence is the highest level of intelligence.
Yes, it is.
So in order for us to really get in tune, that means our imagination, number one, is going to have to be open.
Facts.
Right. Number two, our vibrations have to be higher, because prayer is a vibration. So between our imagination and between our prayer life, that means we're able to understand the heart, the soul, which is going to lead us to the mind of the Most High. But we're going to leave that there for a moment.
I could not have, said it better myself. Fellas, first of all, I'll give something to the fellas. In your study of love, you got to study some phrases that you're going to be given, because, love being, it is encompassed sometimes, it's wrapped in emotion and feelings. And when we get some things from your wife, that at the moment, she's going to deal with you at the moment. And sometimes you can't take that personally. Right? Now, we may want to. Sometimes you may. And that's where love can come back and apologize. Right? Because a lot of times in their feelings are at the moment. But as a man, you have to embrace the emotional intelligence of not enacting at the moment. Because if you do, you're going to mess up a whole lot. And you better hope your love is strong enough to get past that at the moment foolishness that you
perpetuated,
put out. Because that was on you to not respond at the moment. The second thing, family, that I want to tell you guys is to embrace the work that love is. Embrace the actual labor of love, to embrace the study of love, because we all want that movie theater love. We all want that romance novel love that ends and then you got 10 generation of grandkids, and you retired to the house on top of the hill, and y'all sitting on the porch drinking your sweet tea if you're from the South, and it was just a great life. Right? But and I'm not saying you can't or shouldn't want that, but there is a labor that those things were wrapped in that make that so special. It are the memories in that journey that make those things special. And that's what makes love stand apart from everything else, from the infatuation. It's what makes love stand out from the lust. And it's what makes love deeper than, a sexual act. That intimacy you share in your love far surpasses anything else that could ever come. But if you will embrace the study of love, you have a very good chance to pass the test when it comes at the end of the day. Hey guys, we sure appreciate you tuning in with us today. We know today would not have been what it was had you not sat down with us to listen, learn, and grow. Family, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to our Apple Podcast and Spotify. Y'all have a great day.